Welcome to Fall Girl, the Michelle Carter podcast, part 2.
I don't know who I am. I really don't. I'm so lost. I never found myself. I know God has a purpose for me, but I don't know what it is.
On September 12, 1995, Conrad Roy III, nicknamed Coco or Co, was born in New Bedford, Massachusetts at St. Luke's Hospital to unwed teenagers Conrad Roy II and Lynn Bozzi. They met when Lynn was 18 years old, and Conrad, too, would tell her that he couldn't wait to have a Co-3 someday. Conrad, too, and Lynn eventually married and would go on to have 2 more children, Camden and Morgan, both daughters.
I have a picture in my room of my dad holding me when I was a kid. And he cried to me that the best thing that ever happened to him was me being born.
Conrad, too, is a tugboat captain. He works for Tucker Roy Marine Towing and Salvage, a multi-service marine transportation company in New Bedford, Massachusetts. It is owned and operated by Conrad Roy Sr., his father, who was also a tugboat captain. Being a family business, it was always expected that Conrad III would follow in the footsteps of his grandfather, father, and uncle, and one day also become a tugboat captain. At age 18, he attended the Northeast Maritime Institute, obtaining his captain's license after 3 months.
The Maritime Scholarship was not my idea. It was Co's family's, because the grandfather, unfortunately, doesn't want to make an issue about his mental illness because he is ignorant.
July 21st, 2014. Conrad H. Roy III was an exemplary student as a young mariner, a Northeast mariner. He had the single greatest quality that one could ask for in a mariner, a twinkle in his eye. His smile was infectious. His knowledge was fostered by a great experience in the classroom, and his work ethic were the driving forces behind his goal of becoming an extremely effective master mariner in the future. Conrad represented the quintessential New Bedford and Fairhaven work ethic of a history of over 200 years, producing some of the finest seafarers in the world. Please honor Conrad and his family by donating to the Conrad H. Roy Scholarship Fund.
I'm supposed to be this legendary kid because my father is so good at what he does. But I was stubborn as a kid. I wouldn't want to go to work with him, ever. I wasn't interested in it. I hated it. I would always want to be with my mom because she made everything easier for me. She did everything for me, literally. I have a lot of pressure on me because my dad is very, very smart. And my grandfather's company is really good. I know I have that to look forward to. I'll always always have a job if I need it, but I don't feel confident to do a good job and be like them.
Lynn Bossie was a housewife and mother. She earned her nursing degree while raising the 3 children. At one point, she worked at a psychiatric hospital and would later say she never thought one of her own children would end up like those people.
She was an amazing mom to me, but I don't feel like she knew how to raise me because my dad was always away working his ass off for his family, on the boat taking long trips, sacrificing his life to make money for us. And my mom raised me and I was dependent on her, and I was never really independent. And I feel like I'm not because she let me get away with everything. I hate to make excuses, and I don't want my mom or dad to feel bad about what they didn't do. It's not an excuse, but I don't know. I was their first child, and they were really, really young.
Conrad described himself as a happy child, but also an isolated child.
I spent most of my days by myself, playing by myself. I liked it a lot, talking to myself with my toys. Nobody would come over to my house because my house was way too small. It was like a garage at my grandparents' house, so as a kid I didn't play with others. I'm very sensitive and very shy, that I know my life could have been 1,000 times better if I wasn't shy, because I would be able to talk and learn from people. But growing up, I was afraid to talk in a group. I didn't want to make other people feel bad that I was smarter than them. I kind of acted like I was dumb to make other people feel smarter. I was the happiest kid on the planet Earth. I loved everything and everyone. Everything was all sunshine and rainbows. I've never had to deal with stress or worries in my life. It didn't bother me that I was shy and didn't talk to people because deep down I kind of knew I was better than other people because I had good grades. I always felt smarter and better off than other people because of that reason. I'm too scared to live in the real world. I wish I was 5 again. No worries. Just being myself and proud of me and not having to worry about being inferior to everyone and everything.
Conrad was described as shy and reserved by his mother. Conrad described himself as socially awkward and self-conscious. But Conrad wasn't a social outcast. He had friends. He met his closest friend, Tom Gamble, in grade school, and his friend Ariana Taylor he met at rowing camp. It was Ariana he called when he overdosed on Tylenol. Conrad even had girlfriends, some he met online who he never got to actually meet, and some he knew offline. But it wasn't enough. Overwhelmed with feelings of inferiority and the inability to relate to other people his own age, he constantly compared himself to others. He was jealous of his peers who seemed to know what to do and how to be. Conrad didn't know how to be like everyone else, and worse yet, he didn't know how to be himself. Whatever happiness Conrad felt as a child quickly turned to misery once he realized there was life beyond Conrad's world, and he had no idea how to live it.
I know I'm wanted and loved, but I don't think I'm good enough for myself. I hate myself and wish I was better, but I don't know how to be. I hate that I'm always worrying and regretting the past and pessimistic about the future. I really wish I could just see myself as the person I want to be and not this person who's always going to be miserable. I set my expectations way too high when I was younger, and now I'm realizing that I don't believe that I can accomplish all my goals I set for myself. I get jealous of other people's happiness way too much. People tell me I'm in a good position. I just feel like I'm never going to be happy with myself because I feel like I'm a failure.
When Conrad was 16 years old, his parents were in the midst of a hostile and violent separation. However, they remained living together. It was not a healthy atmosphere for 3 children. Couples fight, especially when they are going through a divorce. Tension is thick, emotions are raw. Parents often forget there are children in the house. Sometimes they just don't care. On August 27th, 2011, Conrad II called the police on Lynn after he was attacked in front of his children and struck on the right side of the face with an open hand. Conrad II got a restraining order against Lynn. Although she was never convicted, she was charged with domestic assault and battery. The Roy home was an emotional gas chamber. The toxicity between Conrad II and Lynn overshadowed the deterioration of their eldest child's mental health and poisoned what was left of his hope for a happy existence. In a notepad entry dated September 1st, 2013, Conrad outright blames his parents' divorce for his depression. He also blames being worried about his mother for his insomnia.
All other kids had problems, unlike me. I was depressed because my parents divorced. Wasn't sleeping because I was worried about Mom. Anatomy, wishing she could help me. I thought about killing myself, but what about Tucker and Alcia? When I was at their house for Labor Day, party, then my sisters, but I didn't care. I'm not as close to them as I am now. But my parents would raise a suicide child and feel like a hopeless couple.
Because he was having sleep disturbances and anxiety, Lynn took Conrad to the Boston Children's Hospital. There, he was referred to Brookline Bournewood Hospital, where he became an outpatient in the partial hospitalization program. When it was time for Conrad to return to school, Lynn transferred Conrad from Old Rochester Regional High School to Bishop Stang High School. Bishop Stang was a private Catholic school, and Lynn thought Conrad would do better there. On the contrary, Conrad attended Bishop Stang only a few weeks due to increased social anxiety. After leaving Bishop Stang, they decided that he would work full-time for the rest of the school year with his father.
As bad as it sounds, like it kills me to say this, but I kinda wish I didn't exist. I view myself as a waste of space and waste of a good opportunity. I wanna be able to have friends and have a good time, but I can't because I feel dumb compared to them. I want to be able to leave my parents someday, but not if I'm feeling like this. And I'm always home, so it's harder to leave than most people. I'm able to sleep at night, but when I'm always worrying about shit, I can never be able to sleep, and I go through a cycle where I can't sleep at night, and I let the devil get to me. He wants me to kill myself, but I don't want to as much as I don't want to exist, because I'm always going to be like this. I guess maybe I have to accept that I'm not going to be great someday.
When Conrad was 16 years old, a sophomore at Old Rochester Regional High School, he was having conflicts with other kids. He was often bullied. He was suspended from school for getting into physical fights. Weighed down by the pressure put upon him by his father and grandfather, he felt like he couldn't live up to their expectations. Their expectations became his expectations. It was expected that when Conrad grew up, he would get his captain's license and take over the family business one day. Even so, he confided his doubts about his future to his mother. She told him that he didn't need to worry about his future. She just wanted him to have one.
Either you're smart and have a path carved out for you and a bright future, or you don't give a shit about anything, but you're still happy because you party and just have fun your whole life. I don't know who I am yet, and it scares me, because I've tried to be cool and hang out with the cool kids, but I don't feel like I can take it anymore. I wish I could go to college and get my degree, but I'm too scared. I know there are people at college that just don't talk to people and are antisocial, but people view those people as freaks, and I don't want to be a freak. I want to have a direction, like my father knew when he was in high school. He had goals and never gave up with anything he did. My mom went through nursing school like 5 years with so much responsibility, like watching me and my sisters, taking us to wherever we needed to go, while graduating with honors from nursing school. They both believed in themselves, and I feel like a failure to them. I never knew what it's like to work really hard for something. I've just coasted through my years of high school, and everything's coming back to me. Like, it didn't bother me until now. Like, every fucking thing bothers me that I just want to fucking explode. I've never taken control of my life. I've had everything handed to me, and like I should be feeling happy, and I'm not.
In February 2012, Conrad went to Naples, Florida for a week with his father, his father's girlfriend, Caroline McGonigal, and his sisters, Camden and Morgan. They were visiting their great-aunt and uncle, William and Lorraine Hawks. William married into the Roy family by his second wife, Lorraine. He was very close to all the children and served as Camden's godfather. William and Lorraine lived in Naples during the winters between December and April. This allowed the Hawks to enjoy their retirement year-round in the warmer weather, playing golf and socializing with their neighboring friends, John and Ruth Carter. It was Lorraine who introduced the Roy family to John and Ruth, and to their granddaughter, Michelle, who was visiting them that same year.